Hey everyone, how's it going? Well, for a while now, as you know, if you've been following the channel, I've been experimenting with motion capture using my perception neuron suit, mostly to make the latest episodes of my EVA series, but I've also been testing out video-based motion capture quite a bit. I'm using the one from the company Mocap. I had to create several animation projects, so I was able to test it thoroughly. And based on that, I got a pretty good idea of how you need to film the video to get good results. So in this little video, we're going to look at what things you need to keep in mind and which ones you don't. Although I also realized that there were many options that, while not recommended, the motion capture with Mocap still turned out quite well. I was also able to confirm this if you saw the previous video where I compared it with other capture systems, that this motion capture was more accurate compared to those from other companies. In this case, we're always talking about motion capture from video using a single camera. There are others that offer greater accuracy with more cameras, but in the case of Mocap, the paid plan uses just a single camera and still delivers quite good precision. So let's take a look at what things you need to keep in mind when filming to achieve good results. Alright, so here are some tips for getting good results. This isn't something strict because you can film in other ways and will probably also get some good results. That's what I realized after doing several tests. But let's say this is the standard to be sure you'll get a good capture. Well, the first point, for example, is to film with the camera in a stable place or directly on a tripod or some kind of phone holder. With a fixed camera, you will get better stability in the capture, as I was able to confirm with these options. Lighting is also essential. You always need to have a surface that's evenly lit as much as possible, so that the subject doesn't end up hidden in shadows at times. And as you can see, in my case, when I have to film indoors, I don't have a very large space. I mean, it's not a studio, it's not a place with good lighting, but even so, that doesn't cause me any problems in getting good results. Another thing to keep in mind is to film in horizontal format. You can also do motion capture in vertical format. In fact, I tried a lot in vertical format and it also works well, but it's always more advisable to have the camera in horizontal format because that gives you a wider field of view, capturing more of the subject's movement, and above all, it provides more reference for the floor, the background, and well, the whole environment. Another thing to keep in mind is that there needs to be a contrast between the person and the background, and especially in the person's clothing. For example, if someone were wearing clothes all in the same color, it wouldn't help much, but as I was able to see when I wore the motion capture suit and used that video to do the motion capture with video, it also worked well. But the most advisable thing obviously is to have the body parts clearly distinguished, and especially the character in relation to the background. As for the floor, the surface, it needs to be something detectable. In other words, it wouldn't work, for example, to do motion capture with a video where the person is on one of those seamless backgrounds in a recording studio, for instance. And well, obviously there shouldn't be any objects obstructing the person's path. If at any point the person gets blocked, the movement will have to be more or less predicted by the system, but it'll never turn out quite right. So you need to make sure that the person's movement isn't obstructed anywhere by any object or anything present on the set. Things to avoid when filming the video: don't constantly zoom in on the person because that will cause issues with the capture. Avoid moving around the person with the camera as well. Also avoid having mirrors or for example places with refraction on the set where the person is, as these can confuse the program and make it interpret that there is another person moving as well. And another important thing is to avoid camera angles. In other words, don't have the camera shooting from above or from below. It is generally best to position the camera at eye level of the person filming. Well, those are more or less the basic tips to keep in mind when filming the video. As I told you, and as you also saw, well, not filming this way doesn't necessarily mean you'll always get bad results either. In some cases it works out well and in others it doesn't, but these are the basic tips to ensure good motion capture with video. I recommend the tutorials I've been making, always using Meshcapade capture. And well, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. See you in the next video.